Hey guys, so today we are going to review correlation. Um, Basically, correlation is very important in Math 1. Understanding correlation will lead on to understanding a topic called correlation coefficients. Using that along with the line of best fit, you can be able to understand another topic in Math 1 called residuals. Okay, so that's why it's important that we kind of review what correlation is and the difference between positive and negative correlations, and then linear and nonlinear associations. Okay, so let's review a couple vocabulary words. So the first thing is scatter plots. Scatter plots are basically graphs with a lot of data points from gathered data. Okay, and it looks something along the lines of this. Okay, of these examples. The next thing is correlation or association. So the pattern in a scatter plot, okay? So basically, what kind of pattern is it following? Is it following a positive correlation pattern? Is it a negative correlation? Or is there no correlation? Another way of seeing this is what type of relationship is there? Is there a positive relationship? Is there a negative relationship? Or is there no relationship? So that's what correlation and association mean. It's basically the relationship between the x and the y values of a set of gathered data. Okay, so let's talk. Let's start off by talking about correlation. So the first thing we have is positive correlation. Basically, these data points are headed in a positive direction. Okay, and I drew a line of best fit on these points to be able to determine that it is following a positive correlation pattern, okay, or relationship. And then if you move on over here, we have a negative correlation. If you notice, the data points are following a negative pattern, okay, because they're decreasing, versus over here, they were increasing. And then, of course, in the middle, we have a no correlation example of a scatter plot. And basically, it looks like I grabbed a whole bunch of marbles and just threw them on the floor and they went everywhere. So basically, here we can't seem to determine that there's any form of relationship between my x values and my y values. Okay, if we go back to the positive correlation, we notice that um, the bigger my x values are, the bigger the y values are. Okay, so basically, as my x values are increasing, my y values are increasing. So a real world example of this is the more you study, the higher your test score. Okay, now if we look at the negative correlation, you will notice that as my x values are increasing, the y values are decreasing. Okay, so a real world example is the number of hours a candle is lit increases, therefore the height of the candle will decrease. Okay, so if you think about it, the longer the candle is lit, the height of the candle will decrease over time. Okay, and so that's a negative relationship. Now, of course, let's move on to linear and nonlinear associations. So over here we have a linear association. So if you notice, the scatter plot shows a linear pattern, okay, or a linear relationship. You're not looking at the individual dots trying to see if each dot, when you connect them, will make a straight line. We're looking at the overall picture. So overall, these data points are showing me that it's going in a linear format compared to the nonlinear example, which, if you notice, the data points are headed in a nonlinear format because they are curving or turning. Okay, so basically, if we ever have data points that are curving or turning, that automatically tells me that we have a nonlinear association, versus over here where we have a linear association because it's headed towards a linear format. And then, of course, you have your no correlation because there's no pattern there, there's no relationship. Okay, if you have any questions, just let me know.